you're never going to have enough time. And this is coming from an individual who has just written and published a book within the span of 2 months. You are never going to have enough time to do anything that you are making excuses about. I promise you that. Most of us think to ourselves, well, I would love to write my book. I would love to record the content. I would love to start that business. I would love to finally start working on that recipe. Man, if only I had the time to get that certification. If only I had the time to paint that painting. If only I had the time to start that side hustle. Guess what? So long as you think to yourself, if only I have the time, you will never have the time. And it is a very practical, straightforward message. The reason you will never have the time is because that's not how time works. Time doesn't work as far as the time is finally going to pop up. Tomorrow is going to be different than today was. Absolutely not. Instead, time is based on our value or evaluation of that time and what we invest that time into. So if I prioritize my quote unquote security more than anything else, right? More than my purpose, my mission in this life, more than my passions and the things that I love to do. If I value quote unquote security most, then I am going to put a greater value on a 9-to-5 job, a corporate job, right? Flipping fries maybe, or a plumbing job, whatever it may be. I'm going to involve myself in something that looks like a sense of security for me, as opposed to the thing that I claim I value most. And I promise you this, for a published author, I was at a point before I published that book, Doing Me Guilt-Free, I really thought to myself, man, if only I could become a real author. But in the same vein, I wasn't writing every day. In the same vein, I wasn't giving myself to my craft every single day, giving myself to my purpose. The thing that I claim to love most, I was not giving any attention to. Think about that. Oh man, I really love to paint, but you never paint. I really love to garden, but you never make time to garden. Do you really love that thing, or do you love it in theory? If you're in a relationship and you claim to love the other person, you're going to want to spend time with that person. You're going to want to give yourself to that person, which equates to time, energy, and attention naturally, right? That's just going to come as a byproduct of you being in that relationship. However, if you claim that you love that relationship or you love that person, but you do not invest into that person, guess what? You do not actually love them, right? There is something else that is occupying more of your space and time. And more of us than not have a greater value for a quote unquote false sense of security, right? We have a greater value of our old stories and limiting beliefs than we do our brighter future, our enlightened and self-actualized selves. We have a greater love for the thing we give ourselves to than we do for the thing that we claim to love but do not invest into. You will never have the time for anything because you do not make the time for those things. Again, this is how time works. Today, I work a job. Let's say I have 8:30 to 5 p.m. I get off at 5, and with the time after, let's say I drive for 45 minutes, right? Let's assume I'm still working somewhere where I got to drive, I got to commute. So 45-minute commute, I get home, and now I have, let's say, an extra 6 hours before I go to sleep. Now, that investment of those 6 hours is going to show what it is that I value, right? Just as I have shown that I value this sense of security first, that's number one priority. Number two, maybe I give it to my relationship if I'm in a relationship, right? If I'm not, then maybe I give it to my phone or TV. So that means I value entertainment. Well, actually not just entertainment. I value drama, let's say, if you watch the drama channels, right? I value gossip. If you're stuck on the gossip stuff, like whatever it is that you're consuming in that time frame is the thing that you value. I say two things will show you a true evaluation of yourself, like what you actually hold as values in your life. Two things, and all you need is these two: your time and your money. If you can look at your bank account, it will show you what you value. So if you say, I value fitness, right? I value fitness more than anything else in this world, but yet you seem to somehow be spending most of your money on fast food in the money category of your budget, that is it's an indicator at the very least that there isn't a real value on fitness. Okay, I go to the gym, I value fitness. No, you go to the gym maybe for that hour, 2 hours a day, maybe 3-4 times a week, maybe 5 times a week, right? But you are showing that your value is in the fast food or in the lifestyle that is going to lead you into a state of obesity or staying exactly where you are. And then you wonder why you're not getting the results. It's because you truly do not value this thing. You just say it because it sounds good to you. It sounds like a good justification. If I said to myself, I really value having, a slender cut body, but yet I'm eating carbs all day long, let's be real. I value carbs more than I do being shredded. Whatever we have as a current result is a thing that we value more than the other thing. And people might not like to hear this, but it is the stone cold truth. If you are in a place where you are continuously financially struggling, you value whatever it is that you're putting first more than being financially prosperous or wealthy. Maybe you value instant gratification. Maybe you value buying things you don't need. Maybe you value that poverty or lack mentality more than you do getting an abundance one. Maybe you value people around you accepting you as opposed to people around you being salty about your success. Whatever it is, we just got to be honest about it. So when we look at our time, the moment we stop making the excuse of time, because it's one of the most sounding or seemingly valid excuses we could use. It's kind of like my kids or my relationship, right? Those two, I actually wrote about this in my article with the same title. Those two things, my kids and my job, my kids and my relationship, those two things can be some of the most compelling, chef's kiss sort of excuses we can use to keep us where we are. This is how it works. Oh man, if it wasn't for my kids right now, if I didn't have to go pick up my kids from school, right, get them from the bus, if I didn't have to, entertain my kids, to feed my kids, if it wasn't for that, I would write the book. And I know that's capped because I have somebody in my life named Carrie Nicole who literally has 3 children as a single mother, right? At least at this moment, single mother with 3 kids, and she has created a full-blown course within that time. Oh, also full-time job, by the way, right? On top of that, teaching teachers, etc. And she's about to transition to full-time speaking, writing, and all the shit what she does best, teaching the masses. But she has those kids, those jobs, all these obligations going on, all the life stuff, and still was able to create the course, to write the poetry book, is writing another book right now, put out consistent content online on YouTube as well as Instagram while she's juggling the rest of her life, and she's able to do that. And so I say to you, who might have the same obligations or probably a lot less, the excuse of time is nothing more than a seemingly valid excuse, because nobody can tell you. I will. I don't mind telling you because I ain't afraid of you. I'm not scared of you not liking me. But most people will not tell you, oh, you know what? That's an excuse, right? They'll say, oh, maybe you're right. Oh, you do have that job. You do have this. Oh, you do have that. You do have this, right? So they'll let you off the hook, but I'm not the one or the 2 or the 3. I'm going to say, look, if you want that thing, you will invest into that thing. You will show yourself that you want that. If you do not, just be real with yourself and you will have a far easier experience at life, right? Coach Bobby Bluford, he said, just be honest with yourself whether or not you really want the 6-pack. If you're not willing to do what it takes to get the 6-pack, then you don't want the 6-pack. If you're not willing to cut certain things out and start living a different way, you don't want it, and that's okay. But be real with yourself, because you will take yourself out of this dissonance, this cognitive dissonance. You'll take yourself out of the state where you're always feeling as if you're fighting against yourself, right? One party wants this, the other part wants that. When you just say, I don't want the 6-pack, like Eric Thomas says, one of the greatest speakers of all time, I believe. When you say to yourself, I don't need the 6-pack like that. I don't really want the 6-pack. Then guess what? Cognitive dissonance is gone. You can eat the cakes. You can eat the this. You can eat all the carbs in the world. You can do all these things, right? Sugar ain't nothing to you. Sugar is a welcomed helper in your experience. When you are in this state of consciousness, these are going to be the results that you get. When you are in a state of, I care more about my gifting, I care more about my purpose, I care more about contributing towards my dream, when you are really living that out, you can't help but make time for the dream. You will get off the job and immediately tune in to creating that business, to writing that book, to painting that painting, right? To doing the math equations that are about to revolutionize the way the world sees itself. You will do these things naturally because you have a true value. So your time is going to show you what your values are. And I would also start to investigate, are the things that I say I value truly what I value? Because sometimes we'll tell ourselves we value something, but we're saying it or we believe it because the world told us we should value those things. Like maybe you don't want to be whatever you think you want to be, but you have something that is always yearning, that is always irking, that is always calling towards you. And once you start to look at that, everything will change. Like for me, who came from the music world, and I gave so many years of my life to music, and I love music, and I've written hundreds, if not thousands of songs, like genuinely, right? I used to produce at the same capacity in music that I do now, in literature and in content. I was so invested, but when I really looked at it, it's like, did I actually want the life of a musician? Right? Was that truly what I wanted? Or was it truly something I believed would, get across the message that I wanted to get, which is what it was at the end of the day. I was just not believing that me speaking, me being myself, me talking a straight talk and not needing a beat behind me could be enough for me to bring my dreams into fruition. I didn't believe that until I saw it manifest right in front of me. When I started putting out this content and it started getting more traction than even some of my music and making more money than even, most of my music, to be honest. And so when I accepted that, man, my gift is actually valuable. And I said first it's valuable to them, but then once I said it's valuable to me and means something, I love what I do. I can't not do what I do. I can't even imagine a day going by when I'm not doing this because I'm just feeling like, man, I got to do it. It's like an addiction, right? I want to, and if I'm not doing this, I'm in a conversation, speaking just like this, having these type of conversations, people in my circle, like this is just who I am. You might think to yourself, oh man, you got to turn on and off. Oh, ain't he gonna burn out? He's putting out 2 videos every day. I'm telling y'all, I literally restrain myself. I try to stop myself from putting out 10 videos in a day. You know what I mean? I literally have to hold myself. I don't know why. One day we'll probably have like a 24-hour broadcast. But I literally have to. I have to put this message out the way that I do, right? So I appreciate you guys for tuning in today. Again, make time for yourselves. Make time for yourselves. Also, make time for Doing You Guilt-Free. My very first published book, Doing Me Guilt-Free. Make sure you get yourself a copy. Click the Amazon link that's going to be in the description below. And this is going to be a revolutionary book for you. It's going to be a book that stays with you the rest of your life. I guarantee it. Until the next time. Love you guys. Appreciate you. Peace.